All right, welcome back to Blue and Gold issue 4. So last time, basically, Ted Kord came out, told Booster, hey, I got fired from Kord Industries. I can't pay for all this stuff. And then they sent the alien princess to Louisiana so they have time to prepare. And then Trixie Collins from the 90s, 80s run came in, was like, hey, you guys can live in my office, do my office, because I believe in you guys. So that's where we're at. So let's hop in. So we start with Blue and Gold Restoration Fund sitting down, getting an interview from Josina Gage. She asks, what makes you guys different from other superheroes, Booster? What makes Blue and Gold special? Well, we all know people who are dealing with unique problems and need real help. We aren't talking about cat stuck in a tree help. Beetle's right. We're talking about the person who knows they were taken aboard an alien craft for medical experiments, or one that knows she's living with a ghost in her attic, or a vampire in her basement. How about the guy who's being monitored by a mirror universe, lived in a past life with a supervillain who's now trying to revive that former self? That's our jam. The weird, wacky things that no one believes out there, where you don't need Superman, because you can't get a hold of Superman, so we take care of it instead. Meanwhile, Trixie and Skeets and Buggles, who was introduced earlier last issue, basically as like a Skeets ripoff by Ted Kord, are sitting watching in the background, talking about the social media blowing up and how it's overwhelmingly positive. And then she gets into their backstory. I've always wanted to do something like this from day one. When Maxwell Lord, if you don't know who that is, he's becoming very popular, I guess, from the DCU. But I like Maxwell Lord's 90s character arc from Justice League International. Countdown to Infinite Crisis was kind of cool, showing him switch up like that. But from day one, when I was brought into this league, to be fair, that's a slight exaggeration, but the Justice League did need me. I wanted to do the right thing. And that's when me and Ted Kord first became friends. We became back on a training mission where I saved this guy's life. And then they argue about whose life they actually saved. So instead, they get down into how it's really broken down. Ted Kord starts, because this is how it happened. See, we just pulled our version of the Justice League together. Booster helped us stop the Royal Flush Gang. That's how he was first introduced, by the way. Batman knew he was raw, so he asked me to take him out, show him the ropes. So this is Justice League International days, like year 89? Yeah. So in this team, this is like the first 5-10 issues, was Guy Gardner, Batman, Blue Beetle. Maxwell Lord was just kind of showing up. We had Mr. Miracle already there, Martian Manhunter. Dr. Fate wasn't like a full member. He was kind of just popping in. And then Oberon, who was part of Mr. Miracle. And then we have Dr. Light, who was kind of showing up at the beginning. This is where you get your iconic Guy Gardner gets punched in the face, and then he becomes a little bit of a dunce for a bit. Yeah, those are the good times. I was going to say the good days. I wasn't alive then. But Blue Beetle and Booster Gold are riding around until they get an alert and see Blackguard. If you don't know who that is the first villain that Booster Gold fought against in Booster Gold issue 1 when he was first introduced. He was a low-grade villain of Booster's named Richard Hertz, loaded with energy weapons strong enough to take down a rhino, plenty dangerous, so I took the lead. And so we see Ted Kord jump down from the beetle, or from the bug. He says, it's more about just winning. Being Justice League means that we have to make sure no innocents are harmed during the performance of our duties. If there's one thing I've always wanted to do, it's kill me some Super Joes. But we have to be careful because Blackguard has some hostages. I'm going to disable him with some light, and then he takes him out. This is what it really means to be a Justice Leaguer. And then Booster Gold jumps in. What are you talking about, Ted? That's not how it went. And so Booster Gold tells his way. I just stopped the Royal Flush Gang from crushing the Justice League the day before, and they begged me to join. That did not happen, by the way. They needed expertise and firepower, so I signed on. Batman gave me my first assignment, which was training the Beetle in tactical fighting, which probably also did not happen. I believe Ted Kord's story so far. When the first ever deadly Blackguard showed up, we had to go into action. The Beetle was at a great risk, so I took the lead. And so we have Blue Beetle saving the security guard on the side while Booster takes down Blackguard. Booster makes sure that the innocents stay out of the battle zone while Blackguard charges his energy, and he says, it was in that moment that I saved the Blue Beetle's life by taking an energy blast and then punching him in the face. From these two stories, I don't believe Booster at all. It's probably Ted Kord who was telling the truth. And so now they get into an argument again. How could you possibly think that you saved me? Well, Ted, I have a flight ring, pulse blasters, power amp suit, force field. You don't have any of that stuff. And then we see in the background that the princess is actually watching them on TV. So Ted goes back to his story. He's like, I did have to take charge. Once Blackguard back up, I don't have powers, but I have my ways. And he shoots him down as Blackguard grabs another giant energy blast from Star Labs. Blackguard, after destroying a bus, picks up Booster and threatens to slice his head off. And then Booster interrupts. Your memory is definitely wrong. I sent Blackguard flying, not you, Beetle. No need to fear. I'll take him out. I may not have powers, but that doesn't make me powerless. Well, that makes two of us. Guess we have to work harder to get the job done. We can even start a club, even let Batman join, if he wasn't such a downer. And then Blackguard picks up his gun, shoots him again, but Booster says it was you this time. You were the one that was picked up by Blackguard. So Beetle interrupts again. You were as good as gone until I got there just in time and electrocuted Blackguard from behind with some conduits of electricity, some metal poles. Booster says that's close to the truth. What really happened is that your head was about to come off. The thing about metal is that it conducts electricity, and I shocked him with my suit. So while they're arguing still, somebody named Guy Gardner shows up. You know, the fact is that both of you are wrong, and I can tell you exactly what happened that day because I was there. Beetle and Booster are like, what are you talking about? You weren't there. So Guy Gardner says that Batman actually sent Guy Gardner to babysit, make sure that the league standards are maintained and no one gets hurt. And so while Blackguard was about to instead decapitate both of them, Guy Gardner shows up and electrocutes Blackguard instead. And then Booster says, can your ring lie? No, my power ring's not going to lie to you, Booster Gold. Huh. And then Ted Gord says, you know what? Now that I saw that, I think that's actually the truth. So that's great that they just both lied until Guy Gardner showed up. And then Guy Gardner just bounces. He leaves. He's like, all right, cool. Truth's done. Bye. And then Trixie's like, hey, you guys got to look out the window. There's all these people out here for help. Different dimensions, different aliens, regular people, people on top of like a giant elephant. I don't know what that is. Yeah, it's an elephant. But all these people here for the blue and gold restoration. So those two dunce caps celebrate up top. And then they look down and see that some people are fighting. And it's really the princess. Booster Gold and Blue Beetle will die. So, thank you for watching, commenting, and enjoying. However you choose to enjoy. Yeah, this was issue 4. We're going to continue on. Peace out.